Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the conversation right here on Lagos Television. Now, for the past, as far as I can remember, as far back as 2000, 2007, the conversation around having a new constitution has been muted by so many people, from constitutional lawyers to those who feel that this present constitution, 1999 constitution as amended, hasn't served the purpose for which constitutions are meant to do. That is, provide law and order and the guidance for which virtually everything is based. Now, until last week, I guess, when the Patriot, a convergence of eminent personalities that have held office at one point or the other, different positions in this country and even abroad, came together and said, look, we need to have a new constitution, because as it stands, the 1999 constitution as amended isn't serving its purpose. They feel the reason why we are moving at that particular level, at this particular pace, is because we don't have a constitution that speaks to what the people really need. Don't forget, the constitution will say, we the people. Don't forget that word. But the argument on one hand is, look, let's get a new constitution. But according to the former president of the country, President Olusegun Obasanjo, he said, look, it's not about the constitution. It's the people that manages it. But of course, if you ask any member of the National Assembly, they say, look, the reason why we are here is we're representing all of you, and we are amending the constitution as we see fit at the moment. What is the way forward? Do we have a constitution that can work for us, or do we need to have a new one? The conversation is about the quest for a new constitution. I've got a legal practitioner here with me this morning, Mr. Kehinde Abudu. It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning.
The pleasure.
He's also the principal partner at Reliance and Partners. So where do we start from? The constitution is the ground norm. And
it is the ground norm.
Yes, and everyone believes that no matter how defective the constitution is still the constitution.
Very well.
You can't build anything without building it. It subsists all the powers you have, it derives the powers from the constitution. In fact, let me get your first take on what is wrong with the constitution, or better still, why are we clamoring for a new constitution in Nigeria?
Thank you, Joshua. Before I will delve into that question, you permit me to take you back memory lane on the evolution of the Nigerian constitution. So with that, you understand what the true position is as of now. Before, we've had several constitutional conferences which brought about constitutions in the past. We had the 1950 Constitutional Conference. We had the 53-54 Constitutional Conference. We had the 57-58 Constitutional Conference. Now, those conferences now tell you how we came about issue of constitution since 1922, which is the Clifford's Constitution. After some little deliberations, it brought about the Legislative Council, of Lagos and Calabar, which were the prominent cities in Nigeria then. After that, we moved to the 1946 Arthur Richards Constitution, which created the regions that we have at that time, the Northern region, Western region, and the Eastern region. We left that, we went to another constitution again, which is the McPherson Constitution of 1951. That McPherson Constitution of 1951 went in line with the issue of the regions. After that, there was this constitutional conference again, which looked into the faults that we had with the 1951 Constitution of McPherson. Because then the man at the end of the affairs, the constitution is named after him. Yeah. So they now look at, there are some faults, there are some things that they need to add because of the evolution of things in the country. So that was when we had the 53-54 Constitutional Conference. now came the advent of the 1951 Macpherson Constitution, which talks about federalism. Okay, because those are the things that were discussed in that conference. Okay, now they went further. After the 1951 Macpherson Constitution, we had the 54. I mean, we have the Little Constitution of 1954, 51, 54. Okay, after that, some things too were added to the Little Constitution of 1954. Now, after that, the country was being governed and all that, you know. Then we came about there was another constitutional conference in London in 1957, 57 and 58, wherein the issue of our independence, okay, were discussed. All right? Now, they came back and we had the independent constitution, which is 1960. You understand? So these conferences that they've been having are what they will discuss and infuse it in the constitution to come. After that, with that 1960 constitution, they did away with the issue of monarchy. That was part of what was discussed in England, in London. Now, after that, we had the Republican Constitution, which is 1963.
Yes.
Republican Constitution. So at that time, that was when part of what was discussed before then was us becoming a republic of our own. That's why we have today Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay? After the 63 Republican Constitution, we now had the 1979 Constitution, which brought about our governance being tailored in line with America, the presidential system. You understand? Now, that was going on and all that, you know, that came the advent of the military by that time. Okay, at the time we had the Babangida. Most people do not even know that that was supposed to be a constitution called 1989 Constitution. His intention with that constitution was that, to bring the country back to civil rule. So there, what was without election, without anything. The intention there was just enter the changing room, remove his khaki, and come out with Agbada. That was why he was calling himself the president, the military president of Nigeria. But the constitution never saw the light of the day.
We need to pick this up because we have so many areas to touch. Fast forward to 1999 Constitution.
Now we have the 1999 Constitution. Okay, which we're talking about, you know, the things that are wrong with it. Now, there is no how you would have a constitution to represent the people, and there won't be a constitutional conference. You mentioned this phrase, what's that? Say we the people of Nigeria. That's a wooden lie from the pit of hell, because nobody sat down, okay, to say we have so decided these are the things that we want, like the constitution, like the conferences that we have it in the past. So truly, we need a new constitution, because the National Assembly, they didn't just, you know, came on board. They just ratified that constitution by the military, which shouldn't be.
We've had conversations. We've had national conferences. I know President Olusegun Obasanjo had one. President Jonathan had another conference.
There was one in 94, 95, 2 years.
And the conversation revolves around having some kind of changes, or perhaps be the fulcrum for having a new constitution. It hasn't seen the light of day. Why?
You see, our politicians, with due respect, they hardly have the feeling, the interest of the people at heart. How do I say this? Because when Buhari was there, I think there was even a president. There was a constitutional conference, which they've not implemented till today. The one for 1994, and they've not been implemented till today. Now you're talking about new constitution. What are the things that you want to infuse in that constitution? That brings us to we having another constitutional conference before we can have an advent of a a new constitution. Now you see that lately they were talking about the issue of a parliamentary system, you know, and all that, which is good. But there's no way you can say you want to just sit down, have a meeting and say you want to have a constitution. No, you can't do that. What the people, let them have their people to sit down at the conference, talk about the things that they want at different regions.
You can't have 250-something million people sit in a hall. It's not going to work. In other words, what you need is the representation of these people, or all the nationalities involved that make up the country called Nigeria.
Different from the elected members of the National Assembly.
How come? They have been elected. The National Assembly will tell you that, look, we are the representative of the people, except if you say otherwise. The Constitution also gives them that particular legal, moral background or justification to say they represent the people. Why are you taking that responsibility away from them?
We're not totally taking it away from them because it's enshrined in the Constitution, which is the ground norm of our laws. But we are saying that let there be other people that has the interests of the people at heart who are not being paid, who do not, earn their living from, them sitting in that hollow chamber. Okay, then you hear the true things that the people of that different region they need.
Let me even ask, what is wrong with the present constitution that we're seeking some kind of a new constitution, when even as it stands, we've not followed all the dictates, all the letters of the constitution, and we're looking for a new constitution?
Good.
Do we have a different set of people that will operate the new constitution we're proposing, or it's still the same?
It will remain for the country.
Or we have a different planet where this new constitution will work perfectly?
If you look at this our current constitution, when we were talking earlier, you said as amended. You see, like clothes, if you amend clothes too much, it will lose its fitting. Okay? Why don't you get a new clothes? If you want to add the style that you have in your previous clothes, fine.
There's no constitution that has everything in it, is there?
No, there is no. But the people are the people that will go about what is contained in the constitution.
What is the big deal about the constitution when you have in the United Kingdom where they have unwritten constitution?
America, you mean?
In UK.
Okay, there's in America too. Oh, sorry, in America you have constitution, but just
yes.
Where?
But they amend it, they legislate as they go along, they move with the time, and they enact laws as they see fit. So what is the big deal in having a volume? In fact, we have volume 1, volume 2, voluminous constitution where people will sit down and speak and write it down, and will still flout.
You see,
the laws of the land.
What obtains in the UK, like you just mentioned, is different from what obtains in Nigeria. Okay, and we cannot operate the same kind of constitution. Now, for instance, our resources here, our mineral resources are different from what they have out there. Do you understand? And most people, the citizens, have this sense of entitlement to what the country generates, to what the country have. Out there, the weather is quite different to us, so we cannot operate the same kind of constitution with no. You see, and you see, in this part of the world, okay, we're still evolving. Things are still.
So why don't we evolve to the point where at one point we'll say, I think it's time for us to, having amended, let us have something new that will have all the amended in one place,
which is
as against trying to sit down to fashion a new constitution. Because I'm still trying to see the justification. Perhaps maybe that's why I'm tilting a little bit towards what the former president Olusegun Obasanjo said. The former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Anyoko, said, "Look, let's have a new one."
Yes.
So many people from the Patriots said, "Look, that's the way to go." But the president said, "Look, As it stands, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, has not even been fully implemented in its heart, in its soul, and in its purpose, because the people, it's about the people trying to obey the law or disobey the law. So what is the justification of having another set of letters that will be obeyed? Shouldn't we have the people well oriented as to what they need to do, understanding what the Constitution is all about, as against having letters and not just following it?
You see, from the beginning, this Constitution is not by the people. And you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. That was what the Lord Dennis said in this popular case, McFry and UAC. You see, let's do it properly. This amendment that we're having, different amendments here, amendment here. Yes, they might be, infused in the new Constitution that will come. For instance, now, I'm saying presidential system of government as wasteful. I might be wrong, but that's my opinion. Okay, you having bicameral legislature, you having so many states. When in the past we had regions, see the way things were moving at that time. I think here or one other station I've said it before. If the issue of these states, go back to regionalism.
Is that the key reason why we should have a new constitution?
Part of the reasons. Not the key reasons now.
What you've suggested now can just be amended.
No. For you to say there will be, you go into regionalism, you still have to have constitutional conference. Let the people take charge of themselves, and there will be less powers at the top. Okay, there and then the resources that we are making now will be useful. We will see it.
What you're saying is futuristic. Is yet to be seen.
It's possible with this new concept that I'm advocating for.
So, in other words, I want to believe that you're tilting on the side of you want a new constitution.
Yes.
And perhaps I'm a little bit not befuddled as to why do we need a constitution when people won't obey the constitution?
You see, having a law, okay, and implementing it, getting it to work, are two different things.
So why do we want a new constitution when we won't implement it?
Joshua, no, I've told you that there will be things in place that will make it, okay, for instance now, look at when we had Ediagbo and Buhari.
That can't function now. That was already military era.
I'm telling you that there was a law that says that when you get to the bus station,
you queue.
Nobody needs to tell you. That this was implementation. Implementation. And the moment you see that you're implementing it, every other people will fall in place. Everything will fall in place.
I want to believe you're getting my own argument. That is implementation, not the constitution.
No,
that was even during military era.
You said that. What is the point of having a law when people not obey it?
Of course. So yes. If we have one now,
yes,
as bad as it is, people are cherry picking. When we have a new one, do we have new set of people that will implement the law? That's my question.
Yeah, that's your question. But I'm saying that, you see, when you know that you're moving, I mean, by using that language, would you respect you're being pessimistic?
No, I'm just wondering. The reality now is we have enough punitive measures in the Constitution as we have it at the moment that deals with virtually everything from the economic, social, of welfare. Virtually, the Constitution covers every aspect of our national life. And as it stands, we cherry pick which one. You see people what to obey. You find people, if it's in the Constitution. Constitution says do not embezzle, do not steal. We have all, EFCC has derived its powers from the Constitution. ICPC for the public officials has derived its from the Code of Conduct Bureau is there as well. But you have so many people now, they're saying, look, EFCC is saying, look, we need a special law that will say you can't earn more than when you are in office. You have to justify.
There's a lot to that effect in the first place.
Everything is in the constitution.
There's a lot to that effect.
People are still flouting it. So when we have the new one by the people that you suggest, so who will implement this law?
The people.
Who? The same
no,
people?
Not same people.
Okay.
You see, my own advice is this. If you're calling for a new constitution, we'll call for a different system of government. Different system of government. If we don't have bicameral legislature again, we have just the Senate. Okay? We have saved some money. You understand? If we have regions, we move away from federalism. Something drastic has changed. Okay? And there is there's a law in place where it ensures that these people. How did it happen when we had the likes of Azikiwe as prime ministers, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and all that, and we have people when we have them in the regions, we have the Awolowo, we had what's it called now,
Ahmadu Bello
and Samakpara and all that. Was the country not moving? They were Nigerians.
So some people will say.
So if as you're moving, talking about new constitution, talk about different types of government.
So if I get you well, the whole essence of having this new constitution is perhaps to formulate a new system of government. Primarily.
It will head, yes.
Then we'll take all the remaining sundry matters from the constitution that as we have it now.
There are some things no. Of course, things cannot be the same again because some other part of that what we had in the constitution now will be removed.
Now you have just landed in my trap, which is.
Oh, were you having a trap for me?
Yes, as a lawyer on this other side of questioning, and that is, who among the people that we have now, because this movement of amending the constitution, or this idea of amending the constitution,
having a new constitution.
Having a new constitution will come from the political class, or do you see a kind of revolution that will bring that about? Because this same set of political class wants the status quo. So who is going to take the lead? That's my question.
So that was why I suggested, earlier that if you having a constitutional conference, you don't just leave the politicians that we have now to represent the people at that conference.
So who's going to bring the?
There are leaders in different regions who believe in good governance. Do you understand? Politics and governance are two different things. Okay, you will see some people who believe in good governance and they want to say, okay, let me ask this person to go, but giving them the opportunity that, let me have a voice on how my region is being ruled or governed.
Who is going to constitute the constitutional conference?
A body, the president, even the politicians, yes. The fact that they're constituting it, just hold on. The fact that they're constituting it does not mean that it's true.
So who is going to constitute? Is it President Tinubu or the next president that we are yet to have?
Oh, the president we have now.
So how have you seen any movement? Because I need to get this conversation to a logical conclusion. Because I've heard this over and over. If I were at that Patriot meeting the other day, I would have said, look, perhaps you can mount some kind of pressure on Mr. President. But at the moment, I think he's got enough headache to deal with, enough on his plate to deal with when we talk about the economy, talk about security. So at what point will he say, I think what I need to do now is to have a constitutional conference?
Don't forget the fact that the president himself will not do it by himself. He will delegate that power.
So is it the National Assembly that
it depends on where he wants to delegate such power. It depends on where he wants to delegate such powers to go and Let's have a constitutional conference.
So we're back at where we started from.
How do you mean?
I mean, it's like a merry-go-round, because one, people want a new constitution that will truly speak to we, the people of this country. They want some kind of government that is more accountable and that speak to their needs. However, you cannot start any kind of conversation about the 1999, about a new constitution, if it doesn't derive its powers from except the present authority, government, that derives its legitimate powers from the so-called constitution that would not believe is for the people, constitutes a constitutional conference that will bring about a new constitution. So which of these political class, where do you think that conversation will be thickened up or be heating up to have a new constitutional conference?
I know where you're going. I don't want you to get it confused, okay? Don't get it twisted. Now, the National Assembly, they have the powers enshrined in the Constitution to amend the Constitution.
True.
To make laws.
True.
With such powers enshrined in the Constitution, okay, that will be created. Because they have such power. They don't have power to give us a new constitution, no.
Okay.
They don't have.
They have powers to constitute.
It's part of their powers to even amend the law. But they cannot create a new constitution. They don't have such power.
Okay.
You understand? So, how do we go about it?
Yes, that's my question.
I know. Calm down. Now, how do we go about it? You see, they will convene this national conference. When they convene this national conference, the people of different regions, they will nominate the people to go and represent them at that national conference. Okay? They will ventilate their grievances in court. You understand? At that conference. You the North, you the West, you the East. Okay, at the end, it's like we from the East, we have, okay, these are the things that we want, infused in our constitution. The South too will come, do theirs. Likewise, the West. Okay? After that, they have now have a document. Now we are ready to have a new constitution. It is from that power now, okay, that the National Assembly can ask, okay, we want to ratify this. And a new constitution will emerge. I hope your question, I hope you're following it now.
Okay.
A new constitution will emerge.
So I just want to bring you back to the conversation where we started. I get you, but this is what I have here. I just try to. We have the 1978 Constituent Assembly. We have the 1988 Constituent Assembly. We have the 1994-1995 Constitutional Conference.
I mentioned that earlier, yes.
And of course, we have 2014 National Conference.
Well, Buhari, I mentioned that earlier.
No, by Goodluck Jonathan. He was the one that convened it. 2014 was during President
Goodluck
Buhari
to add his own.
Buhari came now. Buhari didn't do that much.
National conference.
But we have national conference where we had to address structural challenges and promote unity and all that. Oh
yeah, it was during Jonathan. We had
yes.
that they didn't implement.
Yes. Exactly. So we're believing that President Buhari, late President Buhari, will do that. But the thing is, the reports now I remember very well. We had so many people, including prominent people. The likes of Femi Falana.
I went for that conference.
You went there yourself too?
No, I didn't go.
Okay. We had so many prominent Nigerians at that conference. Now, I can tell you authoritatively, like the report of that national conference is gathering dust somewhere in one shelf now, somewhere. So, are we going to expend... I'm sure I don't have the figures here. We spend billions to convene that conference. So are we going to convene another one? I won't have a political will to implement it?
Good. You see, you've just raised another valid point. If they look into those conferences that you've had in the past, and it speaks the mind of the people from different regions, okay, that can become a new constitution. But part of the thing that we have to look into, part of the thing that we're discussing at that conference, maybe we just need to maybe just add little or nothing to it. If if we go into it and say that it speaks the mind of the people of different regions. But I can't remember if the issue of parliamentary system was mentioned in that conference.
That means if we go by
hold on.
Okay.
Whether parliamentary system is being mentioned in that conference, I've not gone through it. Whether the issue of regionalism is being mentioned in that conference, well, these two things that I mentioned will go a long way to ameliorate wastefulness of the country's resources.
Do you know, as we develop as a people and as a nation, we'll have evolving challenges or situational challenges or national challenges that will require that we do something about our constitution?
Come again.
As at 2014,
yes,
the conversation was about devolving powers to the subnational. The conversation from police reforms to security, like we have devolution of powers to state police, resource control, removal of immunity for certain public officers, creation of new states. Those were the conversations they had over 600 recommendations. The composition of it was 492 delegates from across ethnic, religious, political, and civil society. Purpose is to address Nigeria's structural challenges and promote unity. Now, as at the time we had this national conference, the conversation was not the federal government is sapping, is milking national resources, is too bloated. That wasn't the conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
So we will now have a new constitution called 2000, for example, 2025 constitution that will address whether we want to have a parliamentary system of government or a monarchical system of government. No, we will have one kind of government,
we used
right?
to have that, yes.
Because we're trying to run away from this very, very bloated federal system of government. Then we'd have that. Then in 2092, when we are all gone, we will now have another conference, because that time we feel that it's too narrow. The parliamentary system of government that we operate is too narrow. We need to have something either bigger or smaller. Is that what it is? Is that what constitution is all about?
There's nothing wrong in that, because the only constant thing in life is change. I tell you for free that how you were behaving while growing up, maybe your teenage age, it's quite different from how your child is behaving now. And so it cuts across. Okay, in the past, you can't be holding the phone like this here. If you have the phone, you have to go to Nitel. But now you can do everything, even see the person across the globe on your phone at the same time. You can see the evolution. So there will be the law too has to evolve.
Is that not the reason for the amendment?
No, you keep talking about amendment. I don't like amending clothes. Do you understand?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
because I understand what you're saying. You said we need to evolve. So if at that point in 2092, there's a reason for us to have a new constitution, we should, because the world must have evolved, the situation must have evolved.
Well, yes.
Is that not the reason why we shouldn't have as many constitutions as possible, but we should amend it to suit the reason why it is? Because in the constitution, you can't have everything there at the same time.
You will only have the things that will suit today's things. Let's take
the electoral reform, INEC electoral reform, for example. How many times have we amended it now?
We've not gotten
because every time we have an election, there's a reason to amend something, and then we come with several legislation, including the civil society, and say, look, our election has evolved. We have to bring the beavers. We have to bring Isn't that the reason why we need to amend as against changing the whole thing?
This area you went to now wants to make me let something out of the bag for the country. Ordinarily, I will just keep it to myself.
If it is good for the country, just...
I don't have to say because it's good for the country. You see why the Electoral Act needs to be amended is because of the provisions of the Evidence Act.
Okay.
Now, because we want to use the Evidence Act at the tribunal, okay? And if you are having an election, you will have different units, people representing different parties and different polling units and all that. They will collate it and come and hand it to a particular person, okay? Of the party. All right? If they are alleged, for instance, overvoting in a particular ward, a particular district, they write it and come and hand it over to that their boss. They go to the tribunal. They want to lead evidence. They want to submit documents as exhibits, right? And there's a provision of the Evidence Act which says that if you are not there, you cannot tender that evidence. It contravenes the provision of the Evidence Act. And as such, it should be thrown away. Because the person who is in that unit, how many units you want to have? And meanwhile, they have timeline within which to do the tribunal thing for that election.
The Evidence Act is in the 1999 Constitution or in the Electoral
Act? The Evidence Act derives its power from the Constitution. It's a law on its own, which you use for trial.
So when we're having this national conference, the amendment that is presently ongoing in the National Assembly, did lawyers go there to say, look, this is part of the things we want the National Assembly to amend?
I wouldn't know. If I was to be there, these are part of the things that I would say, okay, let's look into it. Because if you don't look into it, they meant to say, okay, there is overvoting in the LTV, there is overvoting. I'll not be looking at you.
Thank God.
By the time you're coming to the tribunal, I'll tell hello, you cannot tender these exhibits.
We don't conduct election in LTV at the moment. So as it stands,
I'm not using that as a word.
I know. But we need to continue with this conversation. But I think we've reached a stalemate at the moment. But I agree with you that we need to have a new constitution. While on the other hand, I believe that we still have people issue, because if we have people that understand the import of law and order, I think even amending the constitution or having a new constitution wouldn't be that difficult. That is my assumption. As we wrap up this,
it won't be that difficult. Just like Professor Killer, one of the members of the Patriots.
Yeah,
he's my very good friend.
He's my good friend as well.
My good Egbon and all that. But he made a statement while he was in China sometimes ago that we can have a new constitution in 30 days. With due respect, I disagree with him.
Okay, and on that disagreement, we want to say thank you very much, our legal luminary, for joining us this morning, Mr. Kehinde Abudu, for joining us to talk about the quest for a new constitution. This conversation is not over, it is a continuous one. And we believe that everyone wants the best for the country, whether you want a new constitution wrapped in green and white, or you want the people to change their attitude towards what the constitution, the intent of the constitution. Perhaps what we want is we, the people, speaking as to how we want to be governed. We'll take another short break. When we come back from this break, the Lagos people are standing, literally, wanting to take over this conversation. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.